Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today for Thursday, October 1st. I'm Adam Brown. On today's show, we'll get on our feet for a balance and stability class from the bottom up with Dr. Dushack. Terry Kolath will visit with Russ Kraay to talk about how to store your personal records. And Boren will give us the full rundown on what to expect in the upcoming Shell Point concert series. But first, we want to remind you that tomorrow, Les Davidson of Eagles Preserve is holding an academy class that is all about canyons and mountains of America. You'll want to see these beautiful photographs and hear about the amazing formations captured from land and air. The class begins at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Calling all World War II veterans. Florida Weekly is honoring local World War II vets in a special Veterans Day issue. Shell Point would like to recognize its World War II veterans by submitting names, branch, rank, and station during the war. If you are willing to participate, please contact Sarah Nadal at 454-2071 by Monday, October 5th. Looking ahead to Monday, Finemark Bank presents the Fall Shredding event to help everyone prevent identity theft. Secure Shred will be on site along with Finemark employees to help ensure security of your materials. Bring any shreddable items such as credit and debit cards, ID cards, old documents, etc., carried in any bag, box, or container of your choice. Please avoid pre-shredded paper, binders, bound books, or phone books. For more information, contact Anna Smith at 461-5930. It's almost time for the 13th annual Shell Point Fine and Performing Arts Concert Series. This season offers a variety of music and dance guaranteed to please. For a brief rundown of this year's concert information, here's Boren, Director of Resident Life.
It's that time of year when our thoughts turn to the exciting concert season, and we look forward to world-class artists bringing a unique variety of entertainment to the concert hall in our own backyard. Hi, I'm Boren, Director of Resident Life here at Shell Point. We have a unique lineup of musical and dance performers coming to our community, from instrumentalists to vocals to soloists to extravagant orchestras. It's my privilege to announce the lineup for our Fine and Performing Arts series. We begin in November. Direct from Russia comes the National Dance Company of Siberia. The company was founded in 1960 and has been a success throughout the country. Performing Siberian dancers have expanded upon the grace of classical ballet and bringing added showmanship of artistic acrobatic strength of their male dancers. The beautiful choreography and scenic costumes add to the expression and the finer perception of each dance. Enjoy their folk heritage as the dancers come alive through the perfect balance between displays of awe-inspiring artistry, visual splendor, and whimsical scenes. The National Dance Company of Siberia has performed for audiences more than 60 countries throughout the world. A true cultural and artistic performance you don't want to miss. That's Friday, November 6th. Our next artist needs no introduction. All you need to do is hear various melodies that span the past 88 years. That's right, the Duke Ellington Orchestra has been performing worldwide under the guidance of the Ellington family. Ellington's music changed the world and helped to break down the color barrier in American society through his music. Duke Ellington is regarded as one of the most prolific American composers of the 20th century. His career spans more than 50 years and included leading his orchestra, composing an inexhaustible songbook, scoring movies, and composing stage musicals. Join me on Monday, January 25th as we celebrate the music of the Duke Ellington Orchestra. In January, join us for the Hollywood Concert Orchestra, which specializes in the music that made the movies. The orchestra specializes in musical arrangements of both current and classical themes you may recognize dating back to the 1930s, or to more recent movies such as Superman Overture, Mission Impossible, or Titanic, just to name a few. During the last decade, the Hollywood Orchestra has toured extensively throughout the United States and abroad, and we look forward to their performance here at Shell Point on Tuesday, February 9th. Our next artists are hailed as one of the premier ensembles of our time by the International Trumpet Guild Journal, as we welcome the Chicago Brass Quintet. Through the years, the quintet has rose to national prominence with the release of its first recording for Capitol Records, and has performed throughout the United States, Canada, South America, and Asia. Other highlights include performances at the Kennedy Center, Eisenhower Hall at West Point Academy, and Chautauqua Institute, to name a few. They also have been broadcast on National Public Radio and the Canadian Broadcasting Company. Don't miss this premier ensemble, the Chicago Brass Quintet, on Monday, March 7th. Our final concert in our Fine and Performing Arts concert series is entitled Something Wonderful, the music of Rodgers and Hammerstein, presented by two talented Broadway Pop's international vocalists, Sarah Pfister and Sean McLaughlin. This lively Rodgers and Hammerstein tribute will feature all our favorites from Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, South Pacific, Carousel, and The King and I, so be sure to join us on Tuesday, April 5th. There's something for everyone in the Shell Point Fine and Performing Arts concert series, and you'll love the prices too. You have the choice to purchase individual tickets for only $35, but if you want to save big, purchase the entire season for $125. That's $50 savings off the normal ticket price. Or you can choose the popular Pick 3 option, selecting 3 out of the 5 concerts for just $90, a savings of $15. The concert series brochure was mailed out to residents this last month, but if you were away or wish to share a brochure with a friend, they are available at either the Island or Woodland service desk. So get your tickets today. Sign-up forms are also available on shellpoint.net. You can also explore our other 2 concert series, the Concert and Conversation series and the Southwest Florida Symphony. We are also proud to announce that we will welcome back the Barbary Coast Dixieland Band as they return to Shell Point for their farewell concert on Tuesday, March 1st, with a special ticket price of only $15. I'm Dawn Boren, and we'll see you at the concert hall.
It's important to keep all of your personal records and financial information organized. If you don't, it's easy to lose vital documents and become overwhelmed or confused, especially at tax time. Russ Kraay of Oakmont comes to our rescue with an academy class entitled Store Your Personal Records on the Computer. In this 3-session class beginning Monday, you'll utilize Excel spreadsheets and Word documents that will enable you to see where you are financially at a glance. Here's Russ to tell us more about the class as he visits with Terry Kolath.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath, and I'm here with Russ Kraay of Oakmont. Among other things, Russ Kraay teaches in the Computer College of the Academy of Lifelong Learning. Thank you for joining me, Russ.
Thank you, dear. It's nice to be here.
Well, over the years, I've certainly seen a lot of courses from you, and they've all been interesting. And it occurs to me that when we look in this brochure and see a half a page that talks about a course, we don't get a full picture of what's going to happen if we come and spend some time with you. So I thought we could talk about that today.
I'll be happy to share with you.
Okay, first one is store your personal records on your computer. Now that is very intriguing to me. I like storing records. I like organization. what kind of records? How do you organize? What's this all about?
Well, living here at Shell Point, we have a number of things that we've got to keep records on. Every year is income tax time, and by that time either you have to do it or you have to bring all your records to the accountant for them to do it. And this is a way to have it all organized so that it's not in shoebox or spread around someplace, and you can just take it in or you can use it. And for us, it's very important to have a list of our medical records. What do we spend on doctors and all kinds of medical things, hospital, other sources of expenses. What do we spend our money for here? And these all are things that we need to have available when we do income tax. And so this is just a simple way of keeping it so that it's all in one place. You don't have to go scurrying around trying to dig it out. It's right there. You know you have it. But this means also that you have a summary of it, but it's important that you have the originals for things like 1099s, that sort of thing.
Good. And you're going to use Excel spreadsheet. Now that to me just is like a wonderful tool, you know, to be able to pull everything onto a piece of paper and it makes sense.
It is such a wonderful program, just to have all the data right in front of you. You can do different things, summarize it, massage it any way you want, and we not only keep records, but we do some financial planning in the sense that how am I doing financially?
Sure, there it is.
And on the spreadsheet we have here, how did you do each month, and how is it at the end of the year? And you hear this famous saying, can you afford it? And if you buy some major item in February, what is the impact at the end of the year? So all this shows right up on your spreadsheet. Beautiful.
Wonderful. And you do it in just 3 sessions.
3 sessions starting October 5th, and I'm delighted to have Betty Norton, who assists me, who works with spreadsheets all the time. And Betty also has the additional advantage of having IRS training.
That is an advantage. You know, nice to have an end plan in mind when you start saving records, isn't it?
It is.
Russ, thanks so much for talking about #1 class in the Computer College of the Academy of Lifelong Learning.
Thank you.
And please look in the brochure. If you're interested in taking this class, sign up at either service desk.
And now it's time to get on our feet for a balance and stability class from the bottom up with Dr. Dushack. In this Health Connections class, he will discuss some of the causes, symptoms, reasoning, and treatment of imbalance and unsteady gait, with an emphasis on current concepts. Here's Heather Batty of Resort Services as she speaks with Dr. Dushack about the class.
Hi, I'm Heather Batty with Resort Services, and today I'm here with Dr. Dushack, one of our podiatrists here at Shell Point. We're going to be discussing his upcoming program for Health Connection, Stability from the Bottom Up. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here with me today.
Thank you.
So, balance and stability from the bottom up. What is that program all about?
Well, it's about having the patients understand that balance is a multifaceted problem, and it needs to be approached from many different directions, and I approach it from the bottom up, meaning from the feet upwards. So I'm trying to educate and prepare the patients for a better, more stable gait and outcome.
Right. So how does actual podiatry really factor into this?
Well, there's a lot of factors where podiatry is involved in, but mostly you'll notice with patients that have numbness or tingling in their feet, they're unable to feel the floor the way they should, and they're unable to balance. Proper shoe gear, proper fitting shoe gear, orthotic devices, braces, all can assist in balance issues that many of the patients are having.
So if your feet are numb, does that will really factor the way you walk?
Yes, numbness, soreness, areas that will change the way your feet contact the ground. If you're sliding around in your shoes, it's not going to help you. If you're not wearing the proper types of shoes, a lot of people are still very vain and are worried about what their shoes look like. But you know, if you're having trouble with balance, a good pair of shoes can make a great deal of difference.
Now I heard an interesting thing, trivia. I heard that your pinky toe has a lot to do with your balance. Is that correct?
Well, not as much as the great toe, but yes. All your toes help you feel pressure. Pressure is the big indicator when you're trying to balance. As we age, the nerve signals to our brain slow, especially from the smaller nerves, such as our toes. That's one of the things that I wanted to discuss, and I will in the discussion that we have later. But as they're slowed, you don't realize that something's going on until after it's already happened. So that's why we see a lot of balance issues.
Mm-hmm. So will there be a chance for some questions kind of in this discussion?
Yeah, I'm going to open the discussion up at the end to, questions. They don't have to be related to the topic that I discussed, but I think education is so important in helping somebody understand what's actually going on with them. They can approach it differently and maybe overcome it a little easier.
Now, your office is where here at Shell Point?
My office is at the Arbor on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 big rooms there. I see patients every Tuesday.
Okay, every Tuesday. So if you're interested in this program, and this is Stability from the Bottom Up, this program is going to be on October 6th. It's at 1:15, and it's going to be in the Social Center. So thank you, and stay happy and healthy.
And now it's time to look at all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. Happy October, everybody. It is also activity sign-up day, so make sure you get down to either service desk to sign up for those activities. We're going to let you know all of Thursday's activities today. We start at 7:15 with a Health Connections class, Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be in the Health Club. And the Men's Golf Association will be at 8 o'clock at the Shell Point Golf Club. Also at 8 o'clock, the Round Robin Doubles Tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And then we move to 8:30. The Paddlers Club will be leaving from the kayak storage for their weekly outing. Samba, the card game, will be played in the Sable Room at the Woodlands at 9 o'clock. And shuffleboard is available at the shuffleboard courts at 9:15. 9:30 is the time for current events in the Woodlands Game Room. And another 9:30 activity is ladies match play tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Introduction to line dancing will be held in the Health Club at 9:45 on the island, and that is our last morning activity. Here's Bev to tell you all about our afternoon.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're going to start with Mahjong. That's played at 12:45 in the Library Lounge on the island. The Stamp Ministry will be down in the tunnel in the Stamp Room at 2 o'clock. At 2:15 is the time the Photo Club will be meeting in the Social Center on the island. We have a Health Connections class at 2:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club. Sign up is required. Now at 4 o'clock we have our seamstress. She'll be here for your sewing needs. She's in the Osprey Room in the Resident Activity Center. We have a 4 o'clock Shell Point's own theater auditions going on in the Social Center. And then we have a 4:30 Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that's in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. Pinochle will be played in the Library Lounge at 6:30. And then we round out the day with a 7 o'clock Trailblazers Bible study that's in the Game Room of the Woodlands. We're happy to see you here today, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday, the first day of October. At 9:15, we have tips for more organized email messaging continuing in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. And at 1 o'clock, Writing with David Singer continues in the Buttonwood Room at the Woodlands. Tomorrow, we have a Coffee with the Neighbor, #1, Canyons and Mountains of America. This is with Lester Davidson of Eagles Preserve.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is braised beef, short ribs, with Yukon Gold potatoes and asparagus. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $13.95, and the soup of the day is minestrone. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a patty melt with grilled onions and onion rings for $7.75. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Thursday are a black and blue ribeye for $19.95 or baby back ribs for $14.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. My name is Arni, Shareski, and we're here today with our good friend Neal Clarke. Neal, welcome.
Hi, Arni.
Today we're going to talk about our Christian life studies at the Village Church. Other people call these Sunday school classes, but we have another name we've used for a number of years, and it seems to work quite well. We're especially interested in the next segment of 7 weeks, beginning on October 4. There will be 3 elective classes. The first one I want to talk about today is the one that's going to be held at the Woodlands by David and Eleanor Perkins. It will be held in the game room. And they're going to be talking about the relationship principles of Jesus. And the whole idea is to explore the teachings that will equip us with insights and a practical path fulfilling God's intentions for our relationships, even the difficult ones. That's going to be a very interesting study, I'm sure. David and Eleanor are very competent teachers, and that will begin Sunday morning at 9 o'clock for those 7 weeks. And then there'll be another class, or 2 classes really, at the village church. One will be held in the hospitality room, and that elective is going to feature Jim Davey, former pastor of our church, and he's going to be showing and talking about the tabernacle, the Old Testament tabernacle that was built to plans given by God as a place of worship for Israel. Every part of the structure and all its furnishings have meaning and will lead to a better understanding of how God wishes to dwell within us as the Holy Spirit makes our bodies His temple. That also will begin at 9 o'clock. A third class is going to be held in the village chapel, village church chapel, and that will be taught by our good friend Neal Clarke. Tell us about it, Neal.
Well, the title of the course is Spirituality and Mysticism. And we'll be talking about the meaning of the words. We'll do some defining to start with, because spirituality, is it just for religious folk, or is everyone truly spiritual? We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about mysticism as an expression of spirituality. Mysticism is really, in the simplest form, our personal spiritual experience. And we'll delve into the ancient mystics, sometimes referred to as the classical mysticism. I'll talk about another segment of mysticism, which I've chosen to call biblical mysticism. And then we'll also be talking about, for want of a better term, New Age mysticism, something which is abroad in our culture today. So we'll do a lot of defining and trying to see the big picture.
Very good. Sounds very interesting, and that's going to be held in the chapel.
Yes.
And also will begin 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings. These classes run for about 45 minutes. All are invited, and we certainly hope that a lot of people will come. The teachers are very competent, we know, and the lessons will be very encouraging, and I'm sure quite helpful. Thank you for listening to Village Church Connections. We hope to see you at these classes Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to watch again tomorrow when residents John Chamberlain and Ken Peterson will talk to us about how you can learn to sail in an upcoming class. And we'll recap the top stories from this week. This has been Shell Point Today for Thursday, October 1st. I'm Adam Brown, and from all of us here at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.